Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the IVES number FS436 BLK. This is a IVES dome stop in a black finish is what it is. Black is a relatively new finish that's increasing in popularity. The year is 2019 now. Black's been building some steam over the last couple, 3 years in my experience. Maybe it could be a few years longer than that. Getting to the point where it's the new polished brass. That's for sure. Black is generally a flat black type of finish. It is generally a powder coat that I see. And I can't tell you that this is powder coated, but I'm tempted to say that it is. Just based on what it looks like. Okay, dome stop. You can use your imagination and see why we would call it that. Okay, now where are you going to use this? Well, historically, door stops were always available as the short and then the tall. This is the short. This was historically known as the 436, which had the short little lip. The 438 was the bigger one. And what contractors would do is they would walk in and say, well, I got a job of 100 doors. You know, give me 65 shorts. Give me 50 talls, and I'll return what I don't use. Okay, fine, no problem. Guy comes in with all the talls and needs 35 more shorts. So anyway, this is the short version. This is going to be really appropriate for your typical wood door type of undercuts. Steel doors usually have they bring that door down to a closer to the floor than you would on a typical hollow metal. This would work on a hollow metal door, but it wouldn't be appropriate, and I would avoid its use only because the overall height is basically 1 inch. Well, a hollow metal door is going to have a 3/4 undercut, so not a lot of that door is going to be hitting a very small amount of that rubber tip. But if you're looking at a 1/4 inch, 5/16, 3/8 undercut, 1/2 inch undercut even, I suppose, this would be really good for you. The 436. They call it FS. They added letters in front of a lot of their stops, wall stops, floor stops, a few years ago, and I guess it helped people understand it was a floor stop if it was FS. It was a 436. So there is a cut sheet below this video that will show you the dimensional properties of the short, the 436, and the tall, the 438. They don't really make a recommendation as to which to use, but you can simply see that you're dealing with a 3/16 dimension right here, okay, and that you have a 1 inch overall dimension. This is intended to be installed into really any type of floor, but with the FS436, you're going to get that big number, probably a number 12. Yeah, it's probably a 12. It might be a 14. Actually, I think they call it a 3/16. I don't know what countersink. It's a 12 or a 14. But I can tell it's certainly a wood screw. Yeah, it'll be a number 12. It'll come with a plastic anchor. On page 2 of the installation instructions, it can be ordered with different screw packages, and we do not have the different screw packs listed in the site, at least at the time of this video, but reach out to us. If you know you want to do a lead shield and a machine screw, let's order it that way. It'll be brutal to find a black machine screw to fit into here, okay? You know, a 1224, well, it'd have to be 1224 as far as I could guess to fit in there. So let's order it correct so that you're not going to hardware stores looking for ways to anchor this material. That's page 2. It gives what's called the screw detail. They also show the location of the countersunk hole in relationship to the pin. All the pin does, or stud they call it, when you install it, just keeps it from moving naturally. So when you do your installation, you're going to drill 2 holes. One for here, one for here. Your anchor will go down first. This comes down. Make sure it fits nice. Make sure it works right. Put your screw in, and then you're finished. at least with the installation. There is also a link to a document called Installation. That's an older document. There's not a year on it, but I would guess that document's got to be from the 80s, showing the installation of the 436. Okay, that's self-explanatory. You can read that information and move forward. There's also a link to the product brochure, and that's handy because it will allow us to review the different stops from IVES. The FS436 and the 438 are on page 2. They do make risers for that material as well, and a riser would be very appropriate when you have a carpet application. And you can't put this down onto thick carpet and then smash it all down. You have to use a riser that are available in those different lengths that are listed there, 6 different lengths or thicknesses, I suppose, to elegantly finish off an application. So if you don't have just a flat floor, whatever it might be, you might need a riser. A couple of other stops are there as well. The FS413, that has a thinner base on it as well. The FS17, they state, is intended for use with thresholds. The concept of it having application to a threshold would be the 1/2-inch base height. And that would make really good sense because most thresholds are going to be 1/2 inch. They don't have to be. They can be 1/4 or taller. But that's where you would come into play with that one. And it will have an increased overall height as well. Now, IVES makes lots of door stops, wall, baseboard, floor, standard, heavy duty. There's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the IVES products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog where you can easily go over all of that material in their catalog. You can get right to the section of the stops and review all of them. There might be another model that works better, actually, in fact. There is a model of IVES stop that I'd like to bring to your attention. Customer walks in and says, "This is garbage." Throws it on the counter. No good. Give me the heavy-duty one. He's not angry at you necessarily. He's angry because the stop failed. The door got crushed into something or someone behind it. And when they say, "Give me the heavy-duty one," they mean the FS434, a cheap piece of angle steel with a rubber coating on it. And that's a go-to, the FS434, that I would recommend that you review. Okay, I'm partial to IVES, and it's probably because it's the trim and auxiliary company that I was most familiar with, or learned first, I should say, or learned about first. And of note from the IVES line, I would recommend that you review their pivots. They make center hung and offset pivots, and the noteworthy item about those pivots is the level of accessibility to the installation instructions. They're simply easier to read. You'll put in pivots by people, and it's like you are reading the blueprints of a nuclear submarine. And that's really unfair, but initially it is quite intimidating. IVES paperwork doesn't approach it that way. So if you install pivots, you might take a look at IVES pivots. You'll see it in the aluminum storefront material a lot as well. Any questions on the IVES FS436 in a black finish? And naturally, I didn't tell you the other finishes that it's available in. We'll do that really quick. In the product brochure on that page 2, they're going to tell us that you can do these in 605 polished brass, 606 satin brass, 609 antique brass, 612 satin bronze, 613 oil rub bronze, 619 satin nickel, 625 polished chrome, 626 satin chrome, plus aluminum, where it's made of aluminum and not brass, with a clear anodized type finish over it. I don't know that they anodize it, but it has some type of finish. It's not mill aluminum. Obviously black, and there are probably other finishes that are just not listed in this catalog. Again, any questions on this or any other IVES product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.